All right, everybody, listen, this market doesn't reward who looks the hardest. It rewards who converts the most leads, right? Every lead you buy, call, or scrape without a killer follow up system is money just leaking out the door. Today, we're going to talk about how to stop that leak once and for all. So, if you're struggling with sellers ghosting you after the first touch, if your follow up sounds like spam, or if you're just not closing deals like you should, this is the episode that's going to be a wake up call. Joining me today is Oleg Donets, founder of Real Estate Bees, one of the most sophisticated lead gen conversion engines in the investor space. He's worked with hundreds of investors and real estate professionals to build back-end systems that literally convert cold leads into closed contracts without burning up your time or your budget. And we're going to dive into a bunch of things today. We're going to talk about how to build a follow-up machine that never drops a lead, the exact framework to flip seller objections into green lights, and how to build a bulletproof online reputation that makes sellers want to work with you even if your offer isn't the highest. This is a Closers Club where real estate investors come for up-to-date, tactical, no fluff strategies to close more deals, build real businesses, and absolutely dominate their markets. No theory, no guru fluff, just real talk with people doing it every single day. So let's get into it. Welcome to the Closers Club. All right, Oleg, thank you so much for being here. What we're going to talk about is super important to every single investor. So let's jump right in. So many investors literally light their pipeline on fire with leads, and then it fizzles out because of the follow-up. What is the single biggest mistake that you see investors making, when it comes to all of their follow-up systems, and how's that costing them deals?
Sure. Yeah. First of all, thank you for having me, David.
Yeah, man, excited.
Yeah, me too. Look forward to this conversation. So, yeah, one of the biggest mistakes really is not having the follow-up sequence at all.
Yeah.
Okay, it's as simple as it sounds.
Mhm.
So, based on our data, and we generate thousands of leads per month, and so we kind of monitor everything what our investors doing, right? And so, one of the biggest mistakes is really to, investors just get a hot lead through,
Mhm.
through our system, and
Yep.
then they either don't even call them, or they don't send them email, they don't send them a text message, or they just call them once, right? And if the seller doesn't answer, they just leave it as is, right? So they don't follow up at all.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Like how many people they pay for leads. Back when I was doing old school marketing, we were out putting out bandit signs and handwriting letters and putting stickies on the door. And I can't tell you how many times other investors like would put up signs and they just would never call. One thing that we used to do that was fun is when I was traveling to other cities is we would just call We Buy Houses signs just to see who picks
Yeah.
up. And usually it's 8 or 10, 11 people that you have to call before somebody will actually pick up the phone. I don't understand, but this isn't unique to investors. Realtors do the same thing. I mean, I've driven by plenty of houses and gone, oh, I might like to buy that house. Let me at least see what they're offering or asking rather. And you can't get anybody to answer the phone or even call you back later. It's wild.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, this is like one of the biggest things that we see, and we do from time to time we do this live shows with more seasoned investors where they come
Yeah.
to our show and they just live call motivated sellers,
Yeah.
right? And yeah, it's like we see those investors who call once and then they doesn't, the seller doesn't answer to them, and they say, okay, this is a burned lead. That's it.
Right.
And like we have just recently, we have one of investors from our community, right? So this is kind of um, not normal situation, but he needed to contact them over 100 times, different touch points, right? It's not just a
Really?
phone call. Yeah,
Wow.
so it's a specific system that they start working. They set up whenever the lead comes in, they right away send text, call goes out, right? Email goes out. In this particular case, he needed to contact the seller for 100, I think 20 times or something like this, and he eventually closed the deal.
Yeah.
But it just this is not normal situation, but this it
Yeah.
happens, and he could have not gotten this deal if he wouldn't if he didn't contact him
Yeah,
definitely
so
not.
many times when we were nationwide wholesaling, we would tell our team 100% the fortune is in the follow up. In the old school, we keep all of our leads in a notebook, and I would just slap that notebook down. I'm like, you got nothing to do today? There's $100,000 in that notebook. Get on the phone and call them. But the other thing, right, the thing that really keys into what you're saying is time and circumstances changes everything. So there could be a day where somebody's really hot and they've got to sell their house right now, and by tomorrow they're like, oh, I figured out where my money problem was. But those problems always keep resurfacing, and sooner or later, with good follow up, you will get that property.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so also, you need to kind of think about for me personally, right? I don't even pick up my phone at all.
Yeah.
If I see phone number that doesn't
Mhm.
familiar to me, I don't even pick up the phone.
Right.
Okay, and so many other people, and so from our last live show, I can give you another example of mistakes that a lot of investors make.
Mhm.
So we basically were calling our motivated leads, right?
Right.
One of the investors came to call,
Mhm.
and so what he first did, he was just calling from his regular number, right? The same number. He was calling different types of leads from different locations.
Okay.
He does virtual wholesaling, so he
Got it.
handles, yeah, all types of leads from all over the country. And so we noticed live, right? So he was calling the same leads from the same number. They did
Mhm.
not answer. Then he started plugging in his local numbers, and
There you
those
go.
local numbers started, like, people started picking up right away.
Right. So that's such an easy hack for people. And with virtual phone lines, you can go and get a Google Voice phone number, right? There's
Yeah.
so many of them out there. Just go find a local number. You're probably working in those markets, quite often. So aside from, I know having a local number very, very important, but some of these follow-up systems, are there any that you really like that you recommend?
So we kind of work with a few companies that we know that they have good systems in
Okay.
place. One of them is I don't know if I can mention them or
Sure.
not, but yeah, one of them is Ari Simply, right?
I
So
love them.
yeah, they have pretty good system in
Mhm.
place where it allows different types of drip campaigns, right, and
Right.
follow-up system through text messaging, through email.
Mhm.
You can also do, the GHL, right? The Go High Level.
High
They
level.
also have highly customizable
Yeah.
system. I know that a lot of investors do that,
Mhm.
but really, any system will work for you, right? You just need
Anything
to
is better than
use
not calling, right?
exactly right. So it's like, yeah, sure, there are so many different systems, but
Yeah.
any system that you utilize will work. Okay, this is like the main thing that I always try to say, tell any investor, just use any system that you will be using. Just use it.
Right. Don't look for perfection, guys. If you're following this, the idea is get started, get some follow up going on, whether it's email or probably text. Throw in some phone calls when you have time, when you could do that, but get something going. You can figure out and perfect it later down the road. So I think that's absolutely wonderful. And yeah, most of the CRM manufacturers have something now. Even way back in the day when I used Freedom Soft, they did. But yeah, Resimply, very, very good. We can definitely help you. We've got discount codes and all kinds of stuff for that. But yeah, absolutely, you have to have something going on there. But what happens once we finally do get a hold of these sellers, right? What are some of the common objections that you're seeing? And like, are there any like kind of secrets, hacks, Jedi mind tricks for overcoming them?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a way how to talk to sellers, right?
Right.
These are people, these are normal people that just need a solution. And so what I see oftentimes, right, especially with newer investors, those that mainly wholesale, right? So
Mhm.
they don't try to solve a problem, right? They just try to go and solve their own problem, right? To
Yeah.
wholesale this property.
Mhm.
But based on what I
An
see,
interesting point. I like that. They're trying to solve their problem, which is get a contract. That's a great way to put it. I like that.
yes, and so like what I personally noticed, especially from this more seasoned investors that kind of skilled in talking to people, talking to specifically try to solve the problem of the seller, right?
Mhm.
So they don't even try to to sell them anything or try to close them right away.
Mhm.
They try to really listen to what they say, to what the problem is, and then
Mhm.
provide a solution. And of course, the key here is being able to utilize different exit strategies, right?
Mhm.
That's definitely what we see in our platform, right? Investors who strictly utilize wholesaling, they close much less deals than those investors who utilize other exit strategies,
Right.
and they not only they close more deals, but they also be able to provide a better solution for to a seller.
Yeah,
To
I mean, 100%, even in our business, and we've done almost 9,000 files for clients, 40% are novations, right? And over
exactly.
10% are creative sub two and all of that. So yeah, I think that's important. I love what you said there. You know, Yeah, treat these people like, first off, like they're people, right? Because they're real people with real problems. Two, I think very important to make sure that when you are talking to a seller, like, I get it, maybe you're going to wholesale and that's your strategy, or some kind of quick exit strategy, but you have to ask questions, right? You have to ask questions and really be, one, you have to have some empathy, but really try to figure out what's going on with them, but also the house, right? The property. We see that fallout is so high because people don't understand what they're putting under contract, right? They're not asking, hey, so, tell me about the kitchen. Oh, the kitchen's great. Yeah, great. And they just move on. But if they'd asked a little more questions like, hey, when was the last time you remodeled it? Tell me about it. Can you send me a picture? And it's plywood cabinets with green, 1950s Formica and a metal band around the countertop edge. Well, that would indicate that you're going to need to get it at a lower price because it probably needs a remodel. So, yeah, for sure. I love that. I think that that's really so important. And caring and showing up for these people will solve a lot of those problems.
Yeah, and that also another, what the other benefit
Mhm,
for, asking questions, being really inquisitive
mhm.
in terms of their situation is it really distinguishes you from other investors because
Yeah.
it's many, in majority of the cases you will compete with other investors, right? Unless you're serving some remote location where there's only one investors there,
Yeah.
right? You will be competing. And so what we found also with with those more seasoned investors who do this, who approach it in this way, uh, they really they really try to be empathetic, ask questions, not try to push anything, because whenever other investors come
Mhm.
forward and they try to kind of sell them and push their solution, they will
Yeah.
remember you. And this we
Right.
saw this live, on calls, and we saw this that that seller calls back to that investor who was more empathetic, who was asking questions, who was kind of concerned about the situation of a seller. So it
Mhm.
definitely gives you an edge over other investors.
Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely a sea of mediocrity out there. Just lazy people, just
Yeah.
they don't want to do the work, or they're afraid, or they're too shy to get on the phone. And, these are the people you're competing against, right? So if you're out there listening to this, call your leads, follow up with them. And when you do get them on the phone, try to have some empathy. Treat them like your mom or your sister, right? Or your uncle, right? Like, this is our superpower as investors. We are put here to help people. Yeah, I get it. We're going to make a lot of money. You can make a ridiculous amount of money in real estate, but you have to, be a go-giver, try to really help people. And sometimes, even if we're not the right answer, maybe referring them to an agent is the right thing to do. But do not be that person that is just screwing over people. That's the thing that's really hurting our industry.
Yeah, that's a good point actually that you mentioned. If you see really that there is no fit.
Hmm.
And I just heard it from another investor that if it's not good, not a good fit, they just refer them. They refer them to the
Yeah,
agent. They say, "Listen, this is your best solution." And those people, again, they will remember that, right? They will remember that, and they might send you a referral
right.
down the line.
Yeah, when I'm talking to somebody, I don't even mind going, hey, Oleg, man, this seems like a great place. Like, why don't you just sell it with a realtor? Right? Because listen, it's no chance that you have never thought about selling this thing with a realtor, right? So let's
Yeah.
just present that right up front. Because I want you to say, you know what, man, there are some things that they wanted me to fix. I just don't have time. I'm out of town. I don't have time to deal with the realtor, right? Like, let them tell you, right, why that doesn't work. And and then I might even go, well, I mean, it is good. Have you thought about just keeping it as a rental? Oh no, I don't want to deal with all the tenants and all that nonsense. Man, geez, I understand. What I mean? I want you to say all of the reasons why you don't want to do
Exactly.
everything else, so that I'm the only person left, right? At the end of the day, that you're convincing me that I'm the best offer for you. And you will find that those people are the people who are not going to ghost you. They truly do need you to solve their problem. And they understand that, they're going to give up maybe a little bit of equity or a little bit of profit to get the deal done quick, and for somebody else to step in and do that for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Any other crazy objections that you've heard lately that kind of stick in your brain?
Um, Maybe not objections, but really you kind of touched upon that. Really verifying what sellers say, right? Especially for virtual wholesalers, because there was
Yes.
a funny situation recently that we kind of uh, came across to. there was a seller that was saying, yeah, the property is good and good, it's decent condition, right? And then turned out that the house literally didn't was missing a wall.
Oh my.
Yeah, so it was really funny, but yeah, never believe what sellers say. Always verify whether you local and you can go and check, or you have somebody, foot on the ground that you can send there and check the property.
I'll tell you, we had this situation once. I was sitting at my desk and I had these two monitors. I'd just gotten two monitors. I was very excited. And on one is my CRM, and I'm reading the notes. And the other one, I have the pictures that just came back from the photographer. And I'm looking at these pictures, Oleg, and I'm like, I'm reading the notes. And I'm like, And the note said, listen to this, needs some drywall, AC duct hanging in one room. And it was in Knoxville, Tennessee, and we made this offer. I'm looking at these pictures, and there's not a stitch of fucking drywall in this place. It needed not some drywall. It needed 270 sheets of drywall, and there's AC ducting hanging all around, right? So did they lie, or did we not ask good questions? I don't know. There was another situation where we contracted this house, sent our buyers over there, and the buyer calls back, talks to Rachel, and he's like, there's a whole wall of honeybees here. Wow.
Yeah.
Literally, you guys are the bees, right? But a wall of honeybees. And we had to go back to the seller, and the seller's like, oh, it was a rental. The seller actually, in this case, had no idea. And the tenants just, I don't know, didn't pay attention. They didn't hear that bzzz. I don't know if you've ever seen those videos where they're pulling bees out of the wall. It's wild. I watch them today. But just ask really, really good questions. I think that's so important, right? Again, pretend you care. Pretend you're really going to buy this property. What would you need to know? Because you should ask those questions anyways, because your buyer is going to need them to make a buying decision, right?
Exactly.
Nice. All right, cool. Last thing here. Let's talk about, this is really, really important, right? It's making sure that you've got a good reputation online, because so much of our industry now, nobody's flipping through the yellow pages, and they're not, calling the fanciest ad, but your online reputation is absolutely crucial, right? You want to make them feel safe, because it's now the trust generation, they say, right? People do business with people they know, they like, and they trust, right? So like, any tips or like advice for, even newer wholesalers, like how they can build up that online reputation?
Sure. Yeah, and this is also one of those big mistakes that they see. Many investors don't invest time, don't invest capital into developing their own reputation and credibility, right? And it's really not that expensive. It doesn't take that much time. Just simply start from your creating Google profile page for your company, right? This is one of the first thing that I would do, right? Because not only it will allow you to start requesting reviews from your clients, but it also will start building inbound pipeline of leads eventually, right? So first of all, Google profile. Secondly, your own website. I see so many investors don't invest in their website, and I don't understand it. This is something that if you taking seriously this business, you need to have your website, right? Invest a little bit in your website, and today you have so many solutions, very affordable solutions to create a website, credible website that looks good, and make the motivated seller, the potential seller, kind of trust you, right? And this is one of the biggest transactions they will have over lifetime for most of the people. So. And third thing is also utilize third-party platforms, right? Third-party platforms like, let's say, like Zillow, like our platform, Real Estate Biz, right? We have a business directory there where you can add your company and create your profile. And so why it's very important, especially right now, with all the the LLMs, right? The AI search tools like ChatGPT and Perplexity and all of those. So those tools are designed to look at third-party entities, right? They look at Google, they look at all this website, the authoritative websites, and they try to see where you have where the information about your company exists, right? So if you don't have anywhere your information on any of those sites, they won't be able to surface any data, right? And so whenever seller call you, right, and you start talking to sellers, and they want, and they always go to Google or go to LLM systems and they start searching your company, right? So this is very, very critical, because whenever they kind of ready to go forward with you, they need to see this trust factor that other kind of platforms like Google, like LLMs, tell them that you're trustworthy.
Yeah. Again, awesome point. Your website, that's your store, right? And people, when they arrive there, you got to tell people what you do in a credible manner. But the other thing is, it's so easy. It's so easy to Google any of us, or just drop our name into Facebook or Instagram or even TikTok, right? And you should show people what you're doing. I remember years and years ago when we first started wholesaling, I had this kid. His dad was really rich, but he was a realtor, or he ended up becoming a realtor. But I went to his Facebook page and he was like in college and he's like holding two pistols, smoking. I'm like, bro, that's not the right image. That's not what you
Exactly.
want people to see. You're just not going to look like somebody who can solve anybody's problem. And so, yeah, you want to be professional, and I get it. Be who you are, all that stuff. Make another profile for that. You know, Online is where business is done, and if you want to be taken serious, then you have to look serious, and you have to, be the person that can solve these problems that people are going to know, like, and trust. Nice.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
awesome. So, man, you have so much insight in the business. I know you guys have been doing this for a long time. And you briefly mentioned it, but like, let's talk a little bit about the leads that you guys provide. Like, you guys are one of the biggest, lead providers in the country.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time,
Yeah.
since 2016. We kind of were under the hood, I would say,
Hmm.
for a long time, because we had our internal team that was
Right.
handling the leads,
Hmm.
and then we went public from there, and so yeah, we generate 100% inbound leads, right?
Okay.
And for those who listen, those who don't know, inbound leads are those people who actually go and raise the hand and said, hey, I want to sell house, right? This is not the outbound game where cold
Yeah.
calling, cold
Beta.
texting, whenever you reach out to people, but
Hmm.
they reach out to us,
Yeah.
right? So this is how we generate leads, and these are high intent, right? This is either search engine optimization, it's or pay per click, right? Google ads,
Mhm.
Bing ads, this kind of stuff. We do have other, also we do decent amount of Facebook ads, but again, it's all inbound that comes into us. People say, hey, yes, I want to sell house. We
Yeah.
our system process it, and then we send them to our investors.
So how many leads are you guys producing like a month?
Um, at this point, I think it's between 3 to 5 thousand, something like
Holy
this.
shit. Wow. So, and you've got investors that you send these to, or can anybody buy these leads? Like, how do people get in on this?
Yeah, so it's a full-blown pay-per-lead marketplace, right? So
Okay.
you can, as an investor, you can join for free and you get access right away to a marketplace. And there are several ways how you can buy, right? For example, if you want to buy and cherry pick from the marketplace, you can do
Mhm.
it. You see
Wow.
a live feed of leads that comes
So
directly
they're
to our
fresh,
system.
hot and ready, like Krispy
Right.
Kreme,
Yep.
ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, as they
Love it.
come, they just populate there. You can go and just, filter, make your filter by
Mhm.
location, by property type,
Very
whatever. Yeah, so you can buy it from there, or you can subscribe to what we call auto buy system, right? So you
Oh.
just provide us with your buying criteria, right, to our
Mhm.
system, and provide your monthly budget, and our system will buy it for you whenever
Really?
this lead matches. Yep.
I love that. So literally, it's just like leads just popping into your inbox.
Yeah, you just need to
Wow.
start calling right away, calling, texting, whatever to
So
to
I'm not
get
going to get a
connected.
bunch of junk leads from Nebraska. I can tell you, I just want Chattanooga, Eastern Tennessee, Northern Georgia, and you guys
Yeah.
will fire those up for us.
Yes.
Oh my
Correct.
gosh, that's incredible. And you have different plans too for however many we want to buy. So we can kind of
Yes.
set our budget accordingly. I love that. I was on a call yesterday and we were talking about leads, and they're like, oh, you can run a nationwide campaign on PPC. Well, first off, I don't want to learn PPC. I'm going to leave that to smarter people like you. I just want the leads that I want. I don't need leads from Texas or El Paso. I just want leads in my markets. So I think that's absolutely wonderful. And you kind of we did chat before, but you told me that kind of the real story is you guys provide a lot of leads to some of these other people that are reselling them for even higher, but they're ultimately coming from you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to name names, but
That's
yes.
okay. Yeah, yeah. They might be friends. We don't want to call them out. But guys, if you are listening to this and you're looking for the best leads and also, guidance on what to do with those when you're done, go over to Real Estate Bees. These guys have been doing this for what's almost 9 years now, right? I will tell you, anybody that has done anything for 9 years, you've got it figured out and dialed in. So the absolute best PPL leads out there. Click this link. We'll also put it in the show notes if you're just listening to this on audio, and make sure that, in your business, right? We're certainly here to help you close all of those at Easy REI Closings, but you got to have good leads. Leads are the lifeblood of your business, and you've got to get good quality leads, right? Then you've got to call them back quick, right? If you don't get them, you got to do some kind of follow up. But when you do get them on the phone, we need to, we need to have some empathy, and we need to treat them right and help these people like literally like it's your sister. And this is how you're going to succeed in this business. So Oleg, so happy to have you on, man. I really appreciate it. Really brought the fire today. Just a ton of good, actionable, valuable information. And guys, the bonus is now you have a link to get a direct source to all of these leads that some of the biggest investors in the country are using.
Thank you, David. Thank you
Awesome.
for having me. It was great.
Awesome. Thanks for being on the Closers Club. Guys, if you like this, please subscribe, like, share, thumbs up, do all the things. Share it with somebody else in the industry that needs some of the things that we talked about here. We will see you next time at the closing table.